What's up guys, Jettwheat here, and today you guys are going to learn by yours truly how to catch bass during the pre-spawn. So once the spawn comes around, it's pretty soon but not yet. Once it comes around in the area that I fish, I will be teaching you guys how to catch bass during that time. But right now, we're going to be talking about the pre-spawn because that's what it is. So during the pre-spawn, it's a little bit more difficult than the actual spawn most of the time because the bass are moving everywhere and they're on different types of banks all the time. But the main baits that I like to use during the pre-spawn, there is some baits that I use during the pre-spawn because they work all year round, which is the spinner bait and the soft plastic worm like a tequila sunrise or a blue fleck, and a jig. Like those work all year round. But then there is one bait that I like to use during the pre-spawn specifically, which is an Alabama rig. And if you don't know what that is, it is a bait that has 5 swim baits on it, and you cast it out there, and it could also be a 3 swim bait Alabama rig, and it's the same thing, it's just smaller, but it's supposed to imitate a school of fish or a school of shad or whatever. Depends on the color you put on the actual bait, depends on the color of the swim baits, but it's supposed to imitate a school of bait, and the bass love that. During the pre-spawn, it is awesome because what you do during the pre-spawn is, first of all, you got to find bait, because like by bait fish I mean the balls of bait fish in the water. So if you have a little sonar, little radar on your boat or in the water or anything, and you look at it and you see those little bushes, not the ones on the bottom but the ones that are kind of in the middle of your radar and they look like bushes, that means it's a ball of bait most of the time. And then if you see lots of those, then it most likely is ball of bait. But if you see like one but nothing else, then it might just be a bush at the bottom that the sonar is misreading or something like that. But you got to find those because typically that's where the bass are during the spawn. Like typically that's where they are. I mean, pretty much all year round that's where they are, but during the pre-spawn, that is exactly where they are. I mean, really, you just find those, and then you also got to find the right bank that they're on, because if you don't catch a bass on a shallow muddy bank, try a deep muddy bank. And if you don't catch anything then try a deep muddy bank with wood. If you don't try anything there, like, don't spend a whole lot of time sitting at one bank. Like if you make at least 5 to 10 casts. Within 5 to 10 casts, if you go up to a bank and you don't catch anything, then move on to another spot or move on to the end of that bank and then try the other side of that bank. If you don't catch anything then move on after that. And so if you don't catch anything on the muddy, then move to the rock banks. You got to figure out the depth they're on. And to do that is you try one type of bank, and if you don't catch anything and say it's a shallow version of it, then you go to the deeper version of that bank, and if you don't catch anything then they're just not on that bank completely. Like some days in the pre-spawn, you will have days where you get skunked. Like you would literally catch 0. I had those all the time during the pre-spawn, and it's because the pre-spawn is hard to fish. Like the bass are moving everywhere. Some days they're way up shallow, and you catch them right up against the bank. Other days you catch them in 10-15 foot of water. It depends on the lake too, but like it also depends on the day. Like the bass are confused during the pre-spawn, kind of. Where I live, it's different than maybe where you live because the weather might be consistent where you live. But where I live, the weather is not consistent. Because some days it's cold, some days it's just like 40 and 50 where it's just a little bit chilly. Some days it's like 30 and cold. And then other days it is like 70. Like today it was 70 outside. So if I fished, I don't know if I would catch fish because a couple days ago it was cold. So like the bass are so confused. They don't know if they should go up into the creeks or if they should go up shallow or if they should stay low because it could get cold soon. Like they have no idea. Like it's so confusing. I'm pretty sure that's why you would have trouble fishing this time of year where I live, because like I haven't really tore them up all year. Like, well, actually I take that back because during 2 weeks ago I tore them up for an entire week. But I'm saying like some days we've had where I fished this year during the pre-spawn and I've caught nothing, and then other days I've fished and I've caught a lot. So it's just been really weird fishing because of the weather and stuff like that. So that factors in there too. But basically during the pre-spawn, here's some tips. If you don't take anything from this video, you need to take this from this video. Number 1, find the bait. The bait is key. I'm not talking about what you use on the end of your rod. I'm talking about what's in the water. Look on your radars, find the bait fish, make sure you can do that, and once you find the bait fish, most likely you will catch at least 1 or 2 bass. Also, figure out which bank they're on, figure out what type of bank they're on. Once you catch a fish on that type of bank, only fish those types of banks the entire day, and then within a week you might need to change it up. Just depends on how the bass are, but those are the 2 main keys you need to do when fishing the pre-spawn, and if you do those, you most likely will catch fish. And I really hope you guys did enjoy today's video, and I really hope this helped you guys, because this is what I use and I catch bass. And if you guys are brand new, don't forget to subscribe for more videos just like this one, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.